It was a quiet afternoon at the elegant Aurelia Hotel, the kind of place where polished marble floors, whispered wealth, and chandeliers reflected lives seemingly untouched by struggle. Amid the hum of expensive conversations and clinking glasses stood a shy young waitress named Nora Velen, her hands trembling slightly as she adjusted her apron. She'd been working there for barely 2 weeks, another invisible face among refined guests who rarely looked twice at the people serving them. But that day, one small moment, one small gesture, would change her life and soften even the coldest hearts. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and second chances, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Motive X. Stories like this remind us that even the smallest acts can speak louder than words. Nora had always lived quietly. Life hadn't given her the luxury of noise or confidence. She grew up in a small, struggling household where silence became a shield. Her father left when she was 12. Her mother worked double shifts just to keep the lights on. In the evenings, Nora practiced sign language, a skill she learned for her younger brother, Eli, who was born deaf. That skill, born of love, sacrifice, and necessity, became her secret comfort. A silent world where words could never wound. The Aurelia Hotel was the farthest thing from that world. It was where billionaires, diplomats, and lacquer-polished heirs came to dine beneath golden ceilings. That afternoon, Nora was assigned to Table 9, a private setting reserved for Adrian Cole and his mother, Margaret Cole, a woman of gentle grace, pearls at her collar, and dignity in her posture. Adrian was known for his brilliance in business, and for a reputation that felt cold, precise, and distant. Staff whispered that he built an empire, but seemed untouched by humanity. When Nora approached, her palms damp with nerves, she noticed something that made her pause. Margaret wasn't responding to the waiter's questions. She smiled softly, trying to read lips. Then Nora saw it. A discreet hearing aid, and the way Adrian leaned closer when speaking to his mother. Nora's heart clenched. She recognized the effort, the familiar rhythm of a life lived between two worlds, one filled with sound and one embraced by silence. Adrian glanced up, impatient at Nora's hesitation. He expected formality and efficiency, not empathy. Before he could speak, Nora took a steadying breath. With trembling hands, she began to sign. "Would you like still or sparkling water?" For a heartbeat, the room froze. Margaret's eyes widened, her hand flying to her chest, as if those silent gestures had reached deeper than any word could. Tears rose. Recognition, gratitude, and joy. She signed back slowly. "You know sign language." Nora nodded, a small smile breaking through as her heart raced. Adrian just stared, completely stunned. For years he had watched the world treat his mother with polite pity or awkward impatience. Waiters avoided her. Conversations excluded her. Every dinner was a careful choreography to protect her from embarrassment. But now, across the white linen, his mother laughed, truly laughed, as her hands moved in rhythm with a stranger's. As lunch went on, something gentle and luminous unfolded. Nora didn't just serve, she connected. She signed each question and menu option, pausing to share light-hearted expressions that made Margaret's eyes sparkle in a way they hadn't for years. Other guests began to notice the billionaire's mother chatting joyfully with the shy waitress, and whispers rippled through the dining hall. Adrian didn't care. For once, he wasn't thinking about profits or deadlines. He was watching his mother come alive. For Nora, it was more than just kindness. It was memory. As her hands moved, she remembered Eli, the little boy who tugged at her sleeve for attention, and who had passed away 2 years earlier after a long illness. Her hands spoke with both skill and sorrow, expressing what her voice could no longer carry. Through Margaret, it felt as if she were speaking to her brother again. One last conversation the universe had tucked into an ordinary afternoon. After the meal, Margaret insisted on thanking Nora in person. Adrian watched as his mother clasped Nora's hands tightly, tears glistening in her eyes. "You made me feel seen," Margaret signed. "You reminded me I'm not alone." Nora's lips trembled. "You reminded me that love never disappears," she signed back. The quiet beauty of that exchange made the air around them feel almost sacred. Later, Adrian called Nora aside. She braced for criticism, perhaps even a reprimand for stepping beyond her duties. Instead, his voice was different, softer, uncertain. He told her how his mother had felt isolated for years, even at home, and how no one had ever cared enough to meet her in her language. In a rare moment of vulnerability, he admitted that his mother had taught him empathy, something he had lost somewhere between boardrooms and business wars. Nora's simple act reminded him what truly mattered. He asked about her life. When she mentioned Eli, he understood the depth behind her gestures. Without fanfare, Adrian arranged for the hotel to sponsor sign language training for all staff in Eli's memory, something Nora never asked for. He also offered her a scholarship to pursue special education, telling her the world needs people who can bridge silence with compassion. Word of what happened spread far beyond the hotel. Guests who witnessed it shared the story, and it soon became a symbol of quiet humanity. How one shy waitress did something no wealth or power could buy. She spoke to a heart, without needing words. Margaret often returned after that, always asking for Nora. Their friendship became a living testament that kindness, in its purest form, doesn't need sound to be heard. Weeks later, during a break by the window, Nora watched sunlight thread through the skyline and whispered a silent thank you. The world could be lonely, but moments like this reminded her that love finds its way back, often through strangers who need it just as much as you do. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to MotiveX. The world needs more reminders of how powerful kindness can be, especially when it's spoken in silence. Tell us in the comments, would you have done what Nora did? Thanks for watching.